And I'm going to start today with the series that I attended this weekend in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium. Padres at Dodgers. You might have seen the outcome. A sweep for the Dodgers. The 11th straight regular season victory in a series by the Dodgers over the Padres. Now, if you're a Padres fan, you're saying, okay, but yes, look at last year's division series. That was the Padres' monumental moment in franchise history for San Diego winning that series. But still, as I write today in The Athletic, there is separation between these teams. And it's not really a separation in talent, because you can argue that the Padres have more talent than the Dodgers. It's more a separation in identity, in who these teams are. And what I mean by that goes to the construction of each of these clubs. Look at the number of homegrown players on each team. 10 for the Dodgers presently. 3 for the Padres, and it only got to 3 when they recalled Ryan Weathers yesterday to start that game. The other 2 homegrown players on the Padres right now are the relievers, Steven Wilson and Tom Cosgrove. That's not a lot of homegrown impact. Why? Because the Padres trade a lot of their prospects for some of their star players. They have star players. There's no question about it. But their roster is top-heavy. It's kind of slapped together. You've got guys out of position now. Cronenworth at first base, Tatis in right field. It's a hodgepodge. It's a funky mix. And it seems to me that there is no there in a sense with the Padres. There is no Padres way. These players come from other teams. They know what their other teams did and how they went about their business there. But with the Padres, it's just kind of all coming together as one. And sometimes it takes a while for such a team to come together. Sometimes such a team doesn't really come together at all. Now, there's plenty of time left in the season. I know that. It might get to the point where the Padres simply out-talent the Dodgers. But right now, the separation is 7 games. And the Dodgers have, without question, a winning culture. 10 straight postseason appearances. I know they've won only 1 World Series, but they always get there. And they get there because they've done things a certain way for a long time. They incorporate young players into their mix on a regular basis. This is supposedly a transition year for them. They're bringing in a number of young guys. We're seeing Outman and Miguel Vargas, of course, 2 of them. Some younger pitchers as well, and we'll see more as the season goes on. They have a number of other prospects, a whole rotation full of them at Double-A, and it's one wave after another. Some get traded, yes. Some players do come from other teams. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. But by and large, this is a team that has an identity, has a certain chemistry about them. Those 10 homegrown players don't include 3 who have been part of multiple World Series teams. Muncy and Chris Taylor, those kinds of guys. So there's something there. And that identity, that chemistry that they form, it plays out. It might not win you a World Series on a regular basis. It might not even win you a division series last season against an upstart Padres team. But it's something that really matters. And when you look at the Dodgers roster, yeah, there are questions. Infield defense not very good. Was Kershaw going to throw 200 innings, which is his current pace? I don't think so. And there are other things that you can look at and say, not so sure about. Padres, though, have arguably just as many questions with the 3rd highest payroll in the game. Their rotation beyond Darvish and Musgrove, neither of whom is an ace, is questionable. Their bullpen is missing Robert Suarez and has been missing forever Drew Pomeranz. The bottom of the lineup is not very good. Cronenworth at first base doesn't give you the same kind of production with that offensive profile that you normally would want from that position. So there are all these things going on. Padres have lost 7 of 8. They're now 7 games back of the Dodgers. And you just wonder how it's all going to come together. Now, finally, on this point, I know Padres fans are probably thinking, no problem. A.J. Preller will make a couple of trades. We'll be right back in it. Problem is, the farm system is not as deep as it once was. And with that, you're restricted in what you can do. Now, they'll probably trade their top prospect, Jackson Merrill, for Corbin Burns or whoever. But again, you're talking about just slapping pieces together and hoping everything fits well. It doesn't always work like that. There is something to roster construction. And for all of A.J. Preller's talents in identifying and acquiring talent, he hasn't yet mastered that roster construction. So that's one thing. That's the NL West. Now let's go back east, all the way east to the AL East, the best division in baseball. And I want to talk about a team that probably is the least discussed in America of the 5 AL East clubs, and that's the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays went this weekend and swept the Atlanta Braves at home. Now, granted, they didn't face Max Fried, who's on the IL. They didn't face Kyle Wright, who is on the IL. But on Friday night, they beat Spencer Strider. Spencer Strider on a night when he struck out 12 Blue Jays, but was outdone by Chris Bassett, who threw a 2-hit shutout. Next game, Jose Barrios, resurgent of late. He beats Bryce Elder, and then the third game, Kikuchi doesn't pitch well for the Blue Jays, but they pull it out anyway. I love this team. I love their lineup, the balance that they now have with Varsho and Kiermaier, who is having a big offensive season. I love, of course, the stars, Guerrero, Bichette, Chapman having an MVP-type year. And their rotation at times can be as good as any. Now, Manoah has not been great so far, but Bassett has come on. Barrios has been better. Kikuchi has been better, except for that one start the other day. And it just seems to me that while they're currently, 6 out, with Tampa Bay playing as well as they are, the Jays have a chance to do something special this season. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the talent on that roster, it makes you wonder just how far they can go. They've now won 6 of 7. Remember, they had that horrible sweep in Boston when they were swept by a team they dominated last year. This run started right after that. So it's a team to watch. It's a team in a division that is absolutely stacked. The Orioles, we will talk about them a little bit later. The Rays, what else is there to say? Great split with the Yankees this weekend. Hard-fought games. The Yankees played great. Huge wins by New York on Friday and Saturday night. But the Rays come back on Sunday, barely held on. You saw the Jason Adam expression when Judge nearly hit the home run, 2 outs in the 9th inning. But they did hold on, and they remain the team to beat in this division. And even the Red Sox, of course, have proven quite competitive. But watch out for the Jays. I still like what they're doing. I love their talent. I love their roster. Yes, you can always point to different things with every team, and that will be the case with Toronto as well. But if they can get Springer going, and they can get Manoah going, I know pieces don't always click at the same time together, they're going to be quite formidable. And they are a team to watch in the AL East.